Hello, my name is Phelan Meadows. I'm the Goizueta Endowed Chair of Early Childhood Education at Kennesaw State University, just outside of Atlanta, Georgia. And this is my classroom. The Goizueta Foundation and the university have charged me with establishing a regional center of early childhood education. And one of the first steps in that direction was the creation of this very special Montessori classroom. In this classroom, we prepare teachers to work with children from 2.5 to 6 years of age at both the master's and the undergraduate levels. You will notice it has a special floor. It's the kind of floor that doesn't need to be waxed so that you don't move the materials out and make a mess at least once a year when they come in with those big machines to take off the wax and put a new wax in. You will notice that there is an ellipse already set up in the classroom. By the way, this is an ellipse for adults. It's built into the floor, so we don't have to put those tape down and get the sticky residue have to be removed after a while. So it's a very special classroom that the university has made a special effort to provide the very best that we can. Now, the other thing you'll notice in this classroom is that the shelves are color-coded. And that was because my teacher, Elizabeth Kaspari, met Dr. Montessori in India, and she and Montessori were in India for 4 years during the war, and she worked with her during that time. And Montessori said to her one day that in the other countries where she'd lived, shelves were always just plain wood. But in India, because they didn't have fine woods always, they would paint the shelves. And she said, "Oh, look, Elizabeth, look how the materials speak to us." She was always talking about the voice of things and how materials speak and draw the child to take them into their hands. We must decide, we must color our shelves when we get back to Europe, she said, but the colors need to mean something. And so Kaspari thought about that for a long time. And when she finally made a decision about it, she decided that these would be the colors. The practical life materials that are over here are all on pale pink colored shelves, because pale pink is a color that elicits a physical response. And this is if in a very special way, a physical material that the children are going to use when they first walk into the classroom. And then the sensorial materials that come next are a peach color. And because that too is a color that elicits a physical response. You may have noticed that restaurants sometimes use pink and peach because they can make you hungry if you're in an environment with those colors. Montessori used pale blue a lot for language, and so Kaspari chose pale blue for the language materials. She chose a pale yellow for math because the great French mathematician Blaise Pascal said that yellow is the color of the intellect. And so math is by an excellent intellectual material, and so she chose a pale yellow for that. And then the science shelves, which we didn't have before, are colored a pale green, and I chose that color for those shelves. So this is a unique classroom, different from those that you see in other Montessori centers, because the shelves are color-coded, and the materials are very special in a number of ways, which I will try to share with you as we go around the room and look at the materials that we have here. At the outset, let me tell you that there are many more materials on these shelves than you would have in a Montessori classroom. It's too much for a classroom of 28 children to work with. We would use fewer materials on the shelves than we have here for that purpose, but the teachers need to learn how to use them all, and so I have them on my shelves. They would have some of these things put away, and they would cycle them through. As children finished working with one material, they would add some others and keep the place new and fresh for the children, so they will find it interesting to work with them. Perhaps I should add 2 other pieces of information about this classroom. I also serve as president of the Pan American Montessori Society and am one of the founders of MACT, the Montessori Accreditation Council for Teacher Education, which is the accrediting agency that accredits fine Montessori teacher education programs throughout the world. I served as chairman of the MACT Commission for 6 years, and this is a MACT accredited Montessori program at Kennesaw State University.